And welcome in, everybody, to another episode of InsideEdge Primetime here on the InsideEdge Network. To my right, your left, is Chad Bryan. I am Eli Moon, and welcome in, everybody, to another week of Primetime. We have a lot to talk about here, and excited to be back with everybody. Went through the highs of highs and the lows of winter. Went from thinking we were in springtime, Chad, and then we got snow. We got snow as of recently today. So just crazy out there. How are you doing? And welcome back to another week. We're gonna get into some sports and some fun topics today.
Yeah, yeah, that was cruel. To be honest with you,
Yeah.
well, I saw it coming. I knew it was going to happen. I saw the winter weather advisory that we had, and it snowed a little bit overnight. I woke up this morning and we had, I don't know, probably 4 or 5 inches of snow. I did Mondays are our trash days, and it seems like the most snow that we've gotten all winter has been on a Sunday night. So I always have to it's like I'm plowing my driveway with the trash can. I can't even. It doesn't even roll. It just drags through the snow. So I
Yeah.
guess that's good training. Um, I don't know. I was happy to see the snow gone. We had just gotten our driveway completely clear for the first time since, I don't know, sometime in January, and now it's covered again. I don't know. It's going to warm up pretty soon, though. I think we're going to be in the 40s and 50s soon, so not so bad. But I guess for a really long answer, I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Yeah, I keeping an eye on Friday. With the album release show, I'm keeping an eye on that. I think it says it's gonna be like a high of 42 or 44. I think last time I checked, with the sun shining. So
Not so
I
bad.
I will take that. I will take that. So, but yeah, doing good, doing good. Just enjoyed the weekend, enjoyed watching the Cavs despite the loss, and we'll talk about them a little bit later on. And then I just enjoyed watching the conclusion of the Olympics.
Yeah.
And I think that was cool to see. Just to see everything transpire. We talked about the Olympics and the interest from different generations, and I think if anything, these hockey games over the weekend definitely drew the interest of a lot of people across not only the United States but across the world. And I think that was something pretty cool. Yeah, I think that's where we would dive in at is these two hockey games, Chad. The women's on Thursday, and then you had the men's on Sunday. Basically, the last game, pretty much one of the last events of the games. And so I thought it was pretty interesting, though. You have basically the same score, 2-1 in overtime, and then just I guess two big games. I guess where do you want to start? Yeah.
Let's start with Bozo Land because I feel like that's what
Yeah.
today is right now. I'm having so many no. Let's not start in Bozo Land. Let's start with the women's. The women's happened first.
Yep.
You listen to almost identical endings, right? I mean, not identical endings. They look different, but uh, overtime, right? Sudden death overtime,
Yep.
gold winners, not just goals, but gold winning
Yep.
goals. Megan Keller for the women and Jack Hughes for the men. Uh, I thought both teams had their moments. Both teams have their stories. But man, the men, bringing out Johnny Gaudreau's kids on the ice, that was pretty emotional, man. Like even if you may not be the biggest hockey fan, but you know that story, and I that was just a really cool moment to see his kids out there with, I'm sure what feels like to their family, their extended family, right? Um, that was pretty cool to see. It's good to see the women have their moment. Good to see the men have theirs. Just man, double golds in hockey. I don't know if anybody really expected that, Eli. That seems like a little bit of I mean, not an upset, but it was an upset, right? Both ways, I think.
Yeah. With the
Maybe not
women.
the women were so dominant, Eli. Yeah, maybe not.
Yeah, yeah. The women won. They were 31-1, so they finished with a 33-2 deficit or a scoring advantage rather in the entire Winter Olympics.
Yeah,
But this women's team, they're talking about maybe the most dominant women's team, at least for the U.S. First goal that you see at the bottom there since 2018, and for the women that is, and for the men this was like something really cool. We talked about how for the men, they had very few Olympians on this roster, right? On this roster, they maybe had 2 to 3 guys that had Olympic experience, but they had NHL stars: Zach Werenski, Austin Matthews, Jack Eichel. You look at some of these guys, Jack Hughes. You look at some of these guys that really like stepped up in NHL play, that are stars in the NHL, and then they kind of step into this different, more of a finesse style game. There's not as much physicality, it's more skill, finesse. And for them to do this and beat Canada for the first gold medal since 1980 for the U.S. I mean, just really cool stuff there. Um, and we were talking yesterday at main event if this will be remembered. I said for the sake of marketing, I don't know if it'll be remembered because it seems like the Olympics do a poor job of marketing, especially the Winter Olympics. You know, that's why we were having a discussion if basketball should be in the Winter Olympics or as opposed to the Summer Olympics if they can handle that. Um, I don't know. I think this can be remembered, but for one thing's for sure, it was a very awesome moment to see that the U.S. obviously not only getting one but both and sweeping the Canadians for hockey. Doesn't happen very often. Doesn't happen very often.
Right. Yeah, first gold since 1980 is crazy. When you think about how long that is, I mean, that's basically my entire life. I mean, I was born in 1979, so um, yeah, contrary to popular belief, I do not remember the 1980 gold medal in hockey. So I was alive, but not quite old enough to remember it. But yeah, just crazy accomplishment both for both teams, both squad. Like I said, the women were just a little more dominant in getting there. Uh, doesn't make it any different that the men won gold or anything. Just, I guess, super happy to see it. Really. And then we did you want to? I guess we can go medal count. We can talk about the medal. Let's do the medal count.
Yes,
We're talking about the
absolutely.
Olympics. Norway, we saw. They were pretty dominant from the beginning. I mean, they got off to the huge lead. I'm sorry, that's huge. The huge lead right away,
Yep.
and they never really relinquished that. They finished with 41 overall medals, almost had golds. 41 overall medals and 18 total golds. It just feels like there's so few medals at the Winter Olympics compared to the summer. Sometimes the medal counts are just it feels like it can't be over, right? I mean, it's not enough.
Yeah.
It's not enough medals, but there you see the U.S. finishing second overall, and Italy, the host country, finishing third. You see the numbers there. USA 33 total medals and 12 golds, and Italy with 30 and 10. So I don't know. Looking back, I mean, I would say that the two hockey golds were probably, I don't know, they at least received some of the top billing. But man, Alyssa Liu, I don't know if you got much of a chance to watch her skate at all. Um, Eli, I thought I was super impressed, man, and just her honestly her whole attitude. I noticed something in my baseball career as I got a little bit older. Uh, when I just kind of stopped caring about the results so much, or what people thought, or if I lost a game on the mound or whatever, when I stopped kind of caring about that stuff and just started playing for the fun of baseball, I feel like things just went a lot better for me. Um, the game was more fun. I didn't feel, you always get those little butterflies in your stomach before you play, and that's healthy to a certain extent, right? Um, but I just didn't feel as it wasn't life and death, right? Like you lose a game, it's fine. You come back, you play tomorrow. Not a big deal, right? The Olympics are a little more, I think, um, heavy than that, a little heavier than that. But man, Alyssa Liu, just like the attitude that she went on the ice with, I was super impressed, man. Um, I love just the confidence in herself and just the air of like, hey, this really doesn't matter because like the fact that I even get to do this at all is a blessing, right? It's a
Yeah.
plus. I mean, if I finish 18th in the world, whatever, 30th in the world, dead last at the Olympics, I'm still 30th in the world or whatever. I don't know how many contestants there were in each event. It doesn't matter. She won gold, right? It doesn't matter how many there were. She won gold. She was the
Yeah.
absolute best. And I mean, she just was so smooth on the ice. Like I told my wife we were watching it with my daughter, and I was like, man, I don't know a ton about ice skating. I clearly can't do it. I don't know anything about figure skating really at all. Um, but you could just see that she moved different on the ice. You could see her lack of nerves and her lack of anxiety about the whole situation. I mean, she just looked like she was there to have fun, and she blew it out of the water, man. It was amazing to watch. I just thought that was really cool. That you
Yeah.
if you could bottle that, study it, bottle it, and give it to other athletes. You know what I mean? Just that clutch gene, that
Yeah.
ability to shut all the nerves off, or whatever it is, whatever that is that she has, that she's clearly really, really good at pulling from inside. I thought that was amazing, man.
Yeah, you look at that, the Alyssa Liu story. You look at, just different stories. Like so much happened in this 2.5 week like little run here. Lindsey Vonn trying to make an effort for what is probably her last Olympics.
Right.
You look at Ilya Malinin, who was expected to really just take over these Olympic games, and it didn't happen that way. But a very powerful performance to end the games. You look at all these different stories: the men's, the women's hockey teams for the U.S. Just crazy to watch how many stories transpire. And I think that's why we had a conversation on this show when the Olympics started about if the Olympics do a better job marketing. I feel like they could get a lot more buzz, and like the buzz was there. I mean, obviously, like, and by the end of it, I think people were definitely wanting more. And I think that's typically how it goes. I think people start catching like after the first half week to week, it's like, wow, okay, we have sports on all day. Like, okay, it may not be like your typical football or basketball or whatever on all day, but you're watching some type of sport all day. And I think it was just cool to see the different stories. Yeah, just I don't know. I think with some more marketing, I think they could definitely make it more intriguing for like my generation, generations after, because there are stories to be seen. Like I said, Lindsey Vonn, I mean, her like the heart of a warrior going out there and doing that. Same with the heart of a champion with the hockey teams, and yeah, just impressive stories, Chad. Very very cool to see. Not shocking that the U.S. did well in the Winter Olympics. We talked about how they may not win it in terms of the medal count, but they do pretty well. And pretty cool to see Italy. Italy obviously the home country, but pretty cool to see them doing pretty well in all of this. And obviously I'm sure the Olympics are like cool. The home country did well. That's that's good as well. So
yeah, you always want to put on a good show when you host the Olympics, right?
Yeah, so all around pretty good. I guess we'll wait a few years and we'll be back in Olympic action. We'll be here on the Inside Edge Network breaking down the Summer Olympics and basketball. It will
not on
stay
this
in the
episode though. Yeah, not on this episode. We're not on that long. Yeah, don't worry.
No, just an hour tonight. That's all you get us for, unfortunately, ladies and gents. But I will tell you this. We'll be talking basketball at that time. It's still a Summer Olympic sport. We'll be talking about track and field. We'll be talking about a bunch of stuff at that time. And I don't know. I'm more of a Summer Olympic guy, Chad. I'm not gonna lie to you. I get into the spirit, the 100-meter dash and like the basketball game randomly in the middle of the afternoon between Lithuania and freaking, I don't know, just name another country. I mean, besides the U.S. But I mean, just so cool, just so cool. I think it's gonna be an awesome time, and that'll be 2028, and I believe it's in L.A. I believe, right? Yep. So
yep.
Gonna be cool.
That'll be good to see. The Summer Olympics are when I become an expert in things like gymnastics. I can start to give out, even though I've never, not once have I mean, other than like chasing my kids around at like a gymnastics class, I've never once set foot on a gymnastics floor. That's never happened. But I will begin to tell you about like what you need to do for your vault takeoff and things like that. That's what I love about the Olympics. I know there's so many videos online and it's 100% true. I turn on some event that I've never seen, like skimo, right? I talked about skimo the other day. You turn it on, you watch, like, what is this? And I mean, not even like a full, like not even 10 minutes later, before the next commercial break, I'm going, come on, you got to change the skis faster. Get the strip off the bottom. What are you doing? Like, let's go. Get the skis on your back. Let's go.
You're a fast learner. You're a fast learner, bro.
Yeah. And all of a sudden I'm a skimo coach. And that's what happens. I've got an ad on Craigslist right now looking for my first client. I am actively training skimo contestants. So,
we talked about these Olympics and about how you obviously have a chance to not necessarily be the oldest competitor, but you can be one of the oldest competitors in Olympics history. So think about that. Maybe skimo, 4 years, Salt Lake City. Or no, Salt Lake City's in 2034. So I mean, even more time. Even more time.
Yeah, I've got 4 years. I've got. Is it 2034
or 2032? 2032. My apologies.
Wait,
no, 2034. 2034. Yeah.
I'm confused.
Yeah. So there's an Olympic before, I believe. Give me 1 second. Let me double check here. We got to make sure this is.
It would have to be 2030 or 2034 for Salt Lake City, right?
I think it's 2034 for Salt Lake City. Let me see who's 2030.
So maybe
French Alps. The French Alps.
Okay.
And I should have known that because Riziki brought it. That tells you. Riziki said that yesterday at main event, and from Sunday to Monday went. Whew. But yeah, French Alps and then Salt Lake City in 2034. So if you want to do the Salt Lake City one, you have 8 years, but the next one will be in the French Alps. So.
More importantly, Rob Rosicki, if you're watching, Eli just admitted he doesn't listen to you on the main event.
At times. No. But yeah, very, very good stuff. Any final thoughts on the Olympics, on the final 2.5 weeks of these games here, Chad?
I'm a little sad that it's over. It seems to go so fast every year. Well, not every year because it doesn't happen every year. Maybe that's why it feels like it goes so fast. But it's just when the Olympics are on, it's like, the opening ceremonies, and I said this on the Sunday Sports Show. Every year I'm always like, okay, I'm gonna watch like a little bit of every kind of different event. I'm gonna watch everything. I'm gonna catch something live. Anything that's on live, I'm gonna catch it at some point, right? And then you end up watching like a replay of something because you missed it. It's like bowl season with college football. Like I'm gonna watch at least like one offensive series for each team from every single bowl game this year. And then like the first 3 days happen, I'm like, I missed 8 games. Like I guess I'm throwing those on the DVR and I'm gonna try to catch up. But yeah, I'm just a little sad that it's over. It was fun to watch. Nice to see the U.S. do well. Just good to see some of the individual stories. I don't know what happened with all the curling thing. Apparently, the Canadian curling team was
A lot of beef and curling this year, and that might be one of the biggest stories of the entire Olympics is the beef and curling. And I hope you did your homework. And we talked about at the beginning of these games about you doing your homework on curling and the hog line and all that such. So
Oh yeah.
hopefully you did your homework.
Yeah, well, it shocks me that we're talking about beef and a hog line. See, that's how much homework I did. I can't correlate because now you brought up beef. You got a hog line over here. That's pork. I don't know what's going on. I'm gonna need another week to do my homework. I think.
Fair.
Yeah.
Understood. Okay. All right. Well, that's our Winter Olympics. I think we're gonna put a bow on it. The closing ceremony yesterday, and Chad and I kind of keeping you updated throughout the entire Winter Olympics. So we will bid adieu or bid farewell, whatever, something like that, to the Winter Olympics, and we'll get ready for 2030 in the French Alps. But until then, 2028 Summer Olympics, Los Angeles. So we'll have all that. But we're going to take a quick pause here. When Chad and I come back, we will talk about the Cavaliers. They lost 121-113 to the Oklahoma City Thunder. And is it time to sound the alarms, or is this just a normal regular season loss?
So we'll talk about. You tear it all down.
Well, if you heard Chad's answer, we'll have to stay tuned to get his detailed response after the break. No, but with that being said, we do also want to give a shout out to our network sponsor, Alley Rose Fragrances. If you are looking for a good candle or body mist and a nice aroma to get into the spring season with, have the window open in the house, light up a candle, have some good smells going all across the house, then you want to go to AlleyRoseFragrances.com, which is like I said, official network sponsor of Inside Edge Network. And that's important because you can go ahead and use the code InsideEdge20, capital I, capital E, 20, InsideEdge20, and get 20% off your entire order, which is a great deal. So, Double A has shown you some of the candles on Main Event, and Chad, has quite a few candles of his own at the house. So, Chad, can't find many better deals right now than right now, Inside Edge 20 on AlleyRoseFragrances.com.
No, it's a great deal. And my wife sometimes has these giant glass candle things. They're huge. I feel like when she puts them on her desk, like the other end tilts up a little bit. They're enormous, but she goes through them in like a day and a half, 2 days. They're gone. We've had the autumn day since I can't remember what day it was that we started, but maybe Thursday. I think Thursday or Friday when we started. It's still going strong. It's barely even gone down. And it smells phenomenal. It's just, I'm really happy with it. And again, we've mentioned it before, vegan materials, cruelty free, just all natural ingredients. They're not, it's not a bunch of the chemicals you see in some of the big box store candles or whatever. And made right here in the U.S. hand poured in Charlotte, North Carolina. She had a video making one of the body mists. I don't know if you saw that on her Instagram. She was fun process. I thought it was really cool. It's just kind of cool to see how it all goes down. It's like a little behind the scenes, but I thought that was really cool. So yeah, it's a great deal. They're going to burn for a little bit longer, it seems, than normal candles, and they smell phenomenal. The autumn day, like I said, that we're burning right now, smells so good, Eli. It's amazing.
That's awesome. I love it. AlleyRoseFragrances.com. The code is InsideEdge20 to get 20% off your entire order. And with that being said, we're going to take a quick pause. When we come back here, we are going to talk about the Cleveland Cavaliers. They lost, like I said, 121-113 to the Thunder. Do we sound the alarms, or is this just a normal regular season loss? We'll have a conversation about that when we come back here. Again, this is Inside Edge Primetime. That's Chad Bryan to my right, your left. I am Eli Moon, and we'll be back right after this. And welcome back to Inside Edge Primetime here on the Inside Edge Network. Chad Bryan to my right, your left. I am Eli Moon, and we are back here getting all into the sports stories of the weekend and the past week or so that may have brushed under the rug. Something that didn't brush under the rug was the Cleveland Cavaliers, Chad. They are not undefeated anymore in the James Harden era. They lost 121-113 to the Oklahoma City Thunder yesterday in the afternoon. A road loss. The Thunder didn't have Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. I believe they also didn't have Jalen Williams in that game. So two of their big players out, but the Cavs unable to really get past an ugly first quarter start. My question to you is, and we talked a little bit about this on Main Event yesterday. I mean, like, how big of a deal is this Cavaliers loss? Like, what do you make of the loss to the Thunder the other night, or I guess last night? That is.
Yeah, Williams actually played. He only played about 17 minutes. He had 10 points, but he was limited. Whatever. I mean, like I said, tear it up. Like, just see you later. Break them down, tear them up, sell off the team, move the team out of the city. They lost the game. It's over. No, I'm kidding. Obviously not a big deal. I mean, it was a weird game. Nobody really like statistically. I think the game high was like 22 points. And it's funny as you look down the box score for the Cavs, it's almost like a weird video game simulation. It was like 20, 20, 20, 15, 11, 11. It was like, it was weird. But yeah, no one really stood out to me. I didn't watch a lot of the game, to be honest with you. Very busy on Sunday. I caught some highlights of it. I caught some, enough looks just on DVR to kind of see that they got off to a terrible start. And really fought their way back. I mean, I don't know what to make of some stars being out or limited for the Thunder. I mean, obviously the Cavs, some people out as well. Just got extras out right now, but I don't know. Just trying to figure out what the playoff rotation is going to look like, and I think trying to figure out the best combination of people on the floor and how to run, the second team out there and whatever. I think they're just still filling each other out. And honestly, an 8-point loss to the best team in the league, even with whatever. I know it's fine. He's out. I get it. I don't think it's time to really panic or worry about anything. I think it's just I saw a lot of people upset. I mean, a lot of people, Eli, were like, this team still has huge problems. And I mean, they do have some issues, but I think every team has issues. I don't know that there's no perfect team. I mean, let me check the Thunder. What's the Thunder's record? Nope, they're not 58-0. Like, they're not perfect, right? Like, every team has some warts right now, to be honest with you. Every team has some things to work out.
And OKC is known to be a tough place to play in. First off, they got out to a real rough start. That first quarter was real ugly for the Cavs. I mean, and they weren't able to recover from there. I mean, that they were outscored 40-25 that first quarter. I mean, but they did have some positives. They, the middle two quarters, they were able to really outscore the Thunder by 6 and 7 respectively, or I'm sorry, by 6 points, I believe, in both quarters. But regardless, able to cut the gap, back to make it manageable. It just was that first quarter. And like I said, in a tough place, a tough environment to play in. I don't think this was a sound the alarms. Everybody's making of the Jared Allen 11 points, 13 rebounds, that he didn't have a big enough game. And I said it yesterday at Main Event. In order for the Cavs to win a championship, they're going to need Jared Allen to have the games that he had during this stretch, this winning streak, where the ball is in his hands early and often. First quarter, Jared Allen's touching the ball 4 or 5 times. He's getting 5-6 shots up. However it adds up, you are getting the ball in his hands, and he is going to get 10, 12 quick points, and now the Cavs are in motion. But when he doesn't get the ball, and Evan Mobley obviously getting back acclimated to the lineup, he had 11 shots yesterday, one for 4 on 3-pointers. Obviously not what you want to see, but obviously taking away some shots from Jared Allen. And I'm not saying take away Evan Mobley, his offensive game, but I think the focus right now out of the two big men should be Jared Allen, because we've seen what he can do and what the Cavs look like when he's rolling. And I think that was just the biggest eye-opener is, okay, Jared Allen can still be efficient, but we need him to be more than just efficient to go further. And that was one of the big things James Harden said in his first press conference, or post-game interview, rather, after they won the first game that he was here for. He said, hey, I want to help Jared Allen. I want to help Evan Mobley. And I think, you saw that very early with Jared Allen. And I think yesterday we felt not only falling behind, but not getting Jared Allen involved like we had the last 4, 5, 6 games. I think
Yeah.
that hurt the Cavaliers yesterday.
Yeah, Harden has kind of a way of when he goes to a place, it's like the front court's numbers go up, right? But it's the court vision, the passing. It's just like knowing when to get a guy the ball and where. Some of those things that I think are a little bit just maybe underrated in basketball, especially in the NBA. Um, Passing angles and things. And am I crazy? Well, don't answer that yet. Uh, answer might be yes, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong on this. I'll go another route. I could be wrong, but I feel like the Cavs have, and this is weird, it doesn't make any sense, but I feel like they've gotten better at the free throw line since James Harden came here. I don't understand that. We'd have to look it up. I don't know, but it just feels like every night I look and they've shot like 86%, 87, or as a team, all of a sudden, they're really, really good from the free throw line. And I could be wrong. It could just be, maybe I'm whatever. It could just be something that I'm seeing. But in this one, I mean, they didn't get a ton of free throws, but I guess that happens when you go on the road in the NBA sometimes.
Yeah,
I'm not saying that
I
hitting was the reason for the loss, but
Yeah, I will say the one thing though, I am encouraged by Sam Merrill. He had another pretty big game. Off the bench for the Cavaliers, 20 points. He had 6 threes made, 6 of 10. I think we talked about getting Max Strus back, who they're monitoring. I think they said he's day to day or week to week at this point. So yeah, I mean he's closer than closer than what he was at the beginning of the season. And I think it'll be interesting to see when he comes back, having Sam Merrill, having these 3-point shooters, being able to stretch out the floor. Jalen Tyson, I mean, not, to be looked at, as a weakness at the 3-point line because he can knock down a few as well. So I think the Cavaliers are in a spot where they really figured out more about this game, and it's not these sound the alarms. It's okay. We just know we gotta emphasize getting Jared Allen involved. We know when we get Strus back healthy, we're gonna have another 3-point option, and we're going to be able to stretch out the perimeter because that's what it's going to come down to is respecting the paint with somebody like Jared Allen so that Merrill, Strus when he's back, Tyson, obviously Donovan and James Harden, obviously having those guys available to knock down perimeter shots, but they're going to have more of a look when the paint's taken up by Jared Allen, by Evan Mobley, whatever have you.
Yeah. Especially if you can keep getting 60% efforts from the 3-point line out of Sam Merrill.
Yeah.
If he's shooting 45, 50, 60% for the 3-point line, you're going to have to, you're going to pull the defense apart. I mean, you got to go out there and you got to get a hand in his face. And that's going to give, Allen and Mobley some room to move underneath. But yeah, I don't think, like I said, I just don't think it's that big of a deal. I mean, basketball is a weird game. It's a game of runs anyway. And it didn't really surprise me to see the Cavs come back after the rough first quarter. But yeah, getting down 15 that early, man. I mean, it's really tough to come back from, even though it does tend to be a game of runs. And sometimes you have those games in basketball where you just never really get into the flow of your offense and you're, like a half a step behind on defense. And it happens, man. Your legs aren't under you for whatever reason. Not to make excuses for the Cavs, but it happens sometimes. I mean, it's no reason to panic.
Yeah, no reason at all. And, they do have a interesting stretch coming up. They have Milwaukee. They'll be on the road in Milwaukee. Against New York. They're at home against New York tomorrow. Then Wednesday, they're in Milwaukee. Then they're in Detroit Friday. And then they're at Brooklyn on Sunday. So two interesting opponents with the Knicks and the Pistons especially. And two, obviously, Eastern Conference playoff teams.
Yeah.
And the Pistons playing really good ball right now. Have that, backbone. You talk about the Cavaliers and, having the physicality. Are needing the physicality. The Pistons have that with Jalen Duren, Isaiah Stewart. They have that physicality. The Knicks, they've proven before that they can stop the Cavs, at least on the glass. Mitchell Robinson, last time I checked, still plays for the New York Knicks. Cats had a better rebounding year. They just picked up Jeremy Sochan. We talked about that, picking up Jeremy Sochan from the Spurs. So it's going to be interesting. I think those are going to be two very intriguing games for the Cavaliers, and it'll kind of be more of a measuring stick. Because besides that, the Cavs, per Tankathon, had the 5th easiest schedule coming out of the All-Star break. So these are going to be some of the last few games we're going to see, true measuring stick games. And then after that, the Cavaliers just got to take care of business and see how far they can get up in the rankings and in the standings to position themselves for the playoffs.
Yeah, and it's funny sometimes what being a fan does, because I caught myself when Harden came over here, I thought, okay, well, now we have a reason to watch the regular season. It's like these games, And now that they lost, I'm like, well, the regular season games aren't going to. I'm thinking in my mind, like they're not going to look anything like the playoff games anyway. The rotation's going to be. It's just so funny how quickly you can you have that knee jerk reaction as a fan, or you can talk yourself into or out of anything. But no, I agree. I think I was going to say, well, I don't know if the regular season can even really compare to the playoffs, but then I realized that's kind of a loser mentality because the Cavs finally just lost their first game with Harden. So no, yeah, you're right. This can be a measuring stick. You can take a look at this and see how the Cavs match up against the Knicks and how they match up against the Pistons, and a little premature to see how they match up against the Thunder. I mean, that would be an NBA Finals matchup. So it's again maybe a little premature to really talk about that right now. But no, I think that's fair. I was gonna go against you there, but I thought no, that's kind of a loser mentality. It is fair. It's fair to see. You can look and see how they match up and how that playoff series might look.
I mean, both those teams have been playing good ball, and don't forget that the Cavs also beat Denver, earlier on in this James Harden experiment in this era run right now with But yeah, I think we both lost. We lost connection there for a moment, but we're back.
I wondered. I was just gonna act like I knew what was going on for a minute. I just smiled and nodded. I was like, yeah.
They were like, all right, you're talking too much Cavaliers. But no, so we'll keep an eye on that. Obviously, Cavaliers, like I said, back in action tomorrow night. They are taking on the New York Knicks. They are in Cleveland. 7:30 is the game. So we'll keep an eye there. The Cavaliers right now in fourth in the Eastern Conference, 36-22. The Knicks 37-21, so the Cavs can jump back into third place. And kind of get into a good position there, Chad. So we'll keep an eye there.
At the Q Rocket Mortgage Field Gunhouse Center.
Oh yeah, you got it. You got it.
It's something like that.
Spot on. All right. So with that being said, we're gonna take a quick pause here. When we come back, we are gonna talk about a few things before we put a bow on this Monday edition of Primetime. We're gonna talk about boxing. Floyd Mayweather continues to take up all the news in boxing as he's fighting Mike Tyson. Now he announces that he's going to be fighting Manny Pacquiao again on Netflix. And Chad, we were trying to figure out earlier on why there wasn't so much excitement when I told you about this news. And so we're going to talk about the sport of boxing, the sport of the state of combat sports, and why maybe there isn't so much excitement from some people in a Floyd Pacquiao fight or Floyd Mayweather coming out of retirement or just combat sports in general. So we're going to talk about that. And then we're going to talk about another coach rant. And we have been on a roll. So we're just going to go back. We're going to look back in the Wayback Machine here. And we're going to take a look and see one of the coach's rants. This is a pretty good one Chad found today. So we'll go into that. And so much more here when we come back on Inside Edge Primetime here on the Inside Edge Network. Chad Bryan to my right, your left. I am Eli Moon. And we are back right after this. And welcome back to Inside Edge Primetime here on the Inside Edge Network. Chad Bryan to my right, your left. I am Eli Moon, and we are back for one final segment here on this Monday edition of Primetime. And we have some boxing to talk about, Chad. And Floyd Mayweather has continued to make the news after his spring announcement that he's going to be fighting, I believe, in April against Mike Tyson on April 25th. You'll have another fight. Or excuse me, you'll have another fight with Mike Tyson, or excuse me, my goodness, Floyd Mayweather against Manny Pacquiao in September. So there's reports with the Mayweather fight that after the Tyson fight, he was going to step out of retirement, and we were trying to figure out who he's going to fight next. It seems September that he's going to fight Pacquiao in the second battle, and we could talk about that and talk about what it means with Floyd Mayweather being out of retirement, what it means for these fights. Obviously, an exhibition fight against Tyson. Something that there's not going to be any knockouts or anything crazy. It's going to be more so just like a spar and kind of like people reliving like two of the greats, Tyson and Mayweather. This Pacquiao-Tyson fights, like you haven't seen any really standout Pacquiao fights in years. So we could talk about that. But it just seems like, we talked about it a little bit yesterday at Main Event, that it's just reliving the past here. You look at Ronda Rousey, Gina Carano, and the MMA. We talked about that with that Netflix fight. This obviously going to be on Netflix. The Floyd Mayweather Manny Pacquiao fight, September 19th, and that's going to be at the Sphere. I don't know. Are you intrigued? Or when I told you about this, you didn't seem as pumped as maybe others would be about this.
I'm intrigued by the Sphere. I wouldn't mind. Listen, I don't know. This coming out of retirement's weird because not coming out of retirement in itself, but I guess for Mayweather, do you know how much he's earned or how much it's estimated that he's earned in his boxing career?
A ton.
It's over $1 billion. I truly hope he's not in a situation where he needs money. If you have somehow lost your handle on over $1 billion, coming out of retirement for 2 or 3 fights isn't going to cut it. Like that's not going to do it, right?
Yeah.
Are the skills still there? Is the quickness still there? Is his defensive ability still? I don't know. This is weird to me. Like we were just talking today. You and I we were texting today. I really don't know where boxing went. And I think sometimes it's just because some of the waters got a little muddied between belts, right? Like you had the IBF, the WBF, the WBC, the MP3. No, that's not a thing. It's just too many letters. I'm not saying boxing fans can't read, but it's just you don't know who holds what belt and what championship and what weight class, and then it's recognized by what federation or what. It's confusing, right? And then guys were avoiding each other a little bit, right? At the end, when I grew up, there was nothing like a heavyweight fight, especially if it involved Mike Tyson, right? All the names. Think about Evander Holyfield. I still got to watch George Foreman fight a couple times when I was young. Riddick Bowe, the Klitschko. There were so many names that I remember. So many more, obviously, but those are just some of the big ones that stand out to me. The Klitschkos were a little bit, when I was a little bit older. So it lasted a little while into my semi, adult, whatever, college student years, whatever. But it's just gone now, right? There are no heavyweight fights anymore. Who name a heavyweight in boxing? I can't even do it.
I get it, and I'm more of a combat sports guy, not as much as I used to be, I guess, over the, past years. I did, get to attend some, in person and get to be, in that atmosphere. So I think and I wrestled my whole life. So I think I just have always been a combat sports guy, but I get what you're saying, and it's for Floyd, April 25th, like I said, I just want to make sure I had that date right. But yeah, April 25th against Mike Tyson is what they're looking at for that fight. September 19th against Pacquiao. Very quick turnaround for a guy who's about to be 50 years old. You're looking at I just don't understand what boxing's trying to get out of this, because
Nostalgia.
clearly, yeah, obviously nostalgia, but the true winner is Netflix, right? Yeah. Because the Netflix isn't worried about your rankings or your championships or anything like that. Look at every big fight they've had so far. It's been a Jake Paul fight. Jake Paul's not defending a heavyweight title or a middleweight title or anything like that.
No,
he's just going out there.
Eyes, yeah.
Yeah, he's bringing eyes and he's bringing a buzz, and that's what they're looking for. So Netflix obviously a big winner in this, But as far as the boxing thing, I get it. It is hard to keep track at times, and then you have to pay the fees, obviously, to keep your belt. You look at Bud Crawford, who eventually retired, but he ended up relinquishing one of the titles because, or they took it back, the commission, because he didn't pay his commission fees or to after he won the title. There's so much like stipulations in boxing. I think that's why a lot of people have switched over to MMA, because there's a straightforward. These are your divisions, but we were just talking about a main event yesterday with MMA. Unfortunately, they're pushing the wrong guys and having people, the wrong people, in front of a microphone right now, like Sean Strickland, guys like that, in allowing them to main event pay per views, or maybe not pay per views in this case, just a card, but still, nonetheless, it's not a good look. And when the UFC's needing stars, can really get back to where boxing's. Here's my take. Boxing's only really buzzing right now because of the Jake Paul situation. Jake Paul and all these influencers didn't start boxing again, I don't think half the names we're talking about would be as talked about. And I think MMA is struggling because of that. And Dana White could find a way to bring some of these stars, create some of these stars that he has, and instead he's pushing the wrong people, and it's pushing people away who would rather go watch influencers. They're like, well, if I'm gonna go watch somebody talk like a jackass, I guess I'll go watch it on Netflix, as opposed to, I guess, subscribing to the UFC, even if it is on Paramount for $8.99. Because before it was $60 for a pay per view, whereas Netflix, you pay $9.99 or whatever, you have any Jake Paul fight you want to watch. You get to watch some of the greats, Anderson Silva, Tyron Woodley. You get to watch some of these guys. Granted, in boxing, so it's not super impressive necessarily as opposed to their MMA careers, but still, nonetheless, it seems like it's turned more into to entertainment. Which is crazy.
If people want to watch somebody talk like a jackass, they're more than welcome to come right here to the Inside Edge Network, and they can watch me. We can. It's whatever. No, I just I feel like, and I'm thinking about we talked about no good heavyweights, right? Well, I mean, all the MMA and UFC stuff it's going to be naturally kind of more geared toward, maybe a little bit smaller, quicker fighter. It doesn't really. I mean, there are heavyweights, but the fights don't look the same. And you can say the same about boxing, but I feel like that's the difference. Maybe I don't know. I don't know what the difference is. I don't know where heavyweight boxing went.
Yeah, I mean, in boxing, you got Tyson Fury, you got Deontay Wilder, those Anthony Joshua. Those are your big three, and as far as heavyweights, and then you're kind of like at a loss after that. And then I mean, Bud Crawford was taking over the world, and then he retired. So I mean, just in a weird space right now for boxing and combat sports.
It's weird how you can retire with a belt, by the way, and never come back, and just like. Where does that belt go? When does it start being given out again? Right? Like what? There's no.
Well, I think it gets vacated at that point. Yeah, and then they just fight. They'll have another title fight for it.
It's just weird. It's weird. It's almost like boxing needs a season. I mean, but you can't do that because there's so long a recovery between fights. You can't ask two heavyweights to go out there and fight, and then 2 weeks later another fight, whatever.
Yeah.
But it's almost like it needs like maybe we do like a 2-year long boxing season where you fight.
Well, they've tried. They've tried to do that with like the I think the PFL, like the Professional Fighting League, and doing like the seasons and whatnot. I just don't think it's gonna work because of like you said, the injuries and how long of layoffs and
it's an event, it's a 12-round fight, right? You can't do like little 3-round fights and expect the same number of people to put money into it either. So
I mean, 12 rounds of boxing, you got 5-minute rounds in MMA, so 25 minutes of mixed martial arts. I mean, just crazy. So. Keep an eye on all that and all the boxing stuff. It seems like boxing is going to be in the news quite a bit this year with Floyd Mayweather, Mike Tyson, and I'm sure Jake Paul will not stay out of the news. MVP Promotions obviously part of the Rousey Carano booking, so we'll keep an eye on that.
Is he going to be able to fight with that broken jaw though? Is that a thing for him now? I had heard that there might be some concern that he wouldn't be able to take too many blows on that side of his face anymore.
I don't know. We'll have to keep an eye on it, Chad. We'll have to get the inside scoop on the Inside Edge Network here. Yep. And if you're enjoying everything you're hearing here, go ahead and give us a follow, Inside Edge Net, on all the socials. Again, Inside Edge Net. Thank you for choosing us as your source of sports, entertainment, mental health, everything in between. Thank you for choosing us as your source for the good stuff. So with that being said, Chad and I, we're going to go ahead and get into what did Coach do this time? And this isn't recent, so no need to sound the alarms, but we're going to go ahead and we're going to get into one, a rant, and I'll let Chad paint the scene, and we'll kind of watch what's going on.
Okay, how do I paint the scene? So the year is 2011, pre-COVID. back when times were good, before some people say the timeline shifted. I don't know what that's about, but there was a fellow by the name of David Bennett. He was the head coach at Coastal Carolina. Coastal Carolina at the time was the FCS and the FBS. They were essentially what Division I AA used to be. Okay, not like Division I Anthony Alford. Not that. That's something different. Not that AA. Different AA. So they had a playoff that would finish their season, right? And by the way, David Bennett, pretty good coach. Coached for looks from 95 to 2001 at Catawba. Went 63-17 there. 40-10 in conference games. They played in the South Atlantic Conference. Lost a few times in those NCAA. That was a Division II school. They lost in the Division II play. They got all the way to the semifinals in 2001. Somehow took a year off. Not sure what happened there. And then ended up at Coastal Carolina in 2003. Coached there until 2011. About the date of this rant that we're going to show you in just a moment. And I will tell you that after this rant, and by the way, he went 63-39 there. So David Bennett, not a bad college football coach. 126-56 total record. A few playoff appearances. Lost in the first round a couple times with Coastal Carolina. Not a bad coaching career.
Yeah.
And I will tell you that shortly after this rant that we're about to play for you, he ended up as a high school coach and athletic director. So maybe he just decided at this point he needed a break from college football and all the cats and dogs. That'll make more sense in a minute. I still don't know what this is about, Eli, but just watch. Here it is.
All right.
Trying to get our two boys ready to carry them to golf tournament before practice, right? 12 cats live across the road. Our door's open. Screen's broke. We need to get a new screen door, but the screen's broke. So you can come in through the screen, but you can't get back out of it. I turn and look, there's a little kitty cat in our kitchen. So I said, what are you doing in here, little kitty cat? By that time, the cat turns, tries to get back out. That screen won't go that way. Cat starts going, meow, all crazy. And I told our players, we need more dogs. Bo's barking in the back. I have to go shut Bo up. Mel's like, what's going on? I said, there's a cat in the house. Cat in the house? I said, yeah, there's a cat in the house. So I told our players, I tried to let it out the front door. Meow, meow, the cat's still going crazy in there. And I told our players, you need to be more like a dog. We don't need a bunch of cats in here. Looking in the mirror. Do I look good? I got my extra bands on. I got my other shoes on. Be a dog. We don't need no meows. We don't need no cats. We need more dogs.
All right.
Need more dogs?
Right.
Need more dogs. Listen, I love dogs. I'm not much of a cat guy either. I'm allergic to cats. Cats are fine. I like cats. So I guess if you're going to ask me, I agree with David Bennett on this rant. We need more dogs. We need more dogs.
We do.
You got to get that screen door fixed. You can't have it go in and not out. You can't. That's a big thing. Eli, I don't know what the hell he was talking about. I have no idea. I can't even I guess he just wants
clearly you just need a good screen door, and you need dogs in the house to stop the cats.
Well, you got to go to your, I won't say a name because we don't have. They're not a sponsor, but you got to go to your local home improvement store, right? Or call a guy if you get that screen door fixed. Coach Bennett, maybe that's why he never went back to college. Maybe he just was like, I got to figure out how to fix this screen door.
Fix the screen door, and he couldn't fix it.
Longer on YouTube than he thought. You know what I mean? And at that point, it's like, well, I can't commit to being I'll just be a high school coach, and it's fine.
That's like the opposite of like the Cleveland Browns pressers the last 3 years, 3 to 6 years. Crazy, just crazy.
Yeah, we got to be better to impersonating cats and dogs. And
what a world. What a world.
Hey, listen, gotta have dogs. Gotta have more dogs.
Gotta have the dogs. Gotta have the dogs.
Fun times.
All right, Chad. Let's get some final thoughts and put a bow on this Monday edition of Primetime. What are you thinking? What are your final thoughts for the peeps?
Final thoughts, man. We don't need no meows. Need more dogs. I don't even know how to make that face. That face was amazing. Even in that horrible, by the way, that was filmed on a potato, clearly.
Sure was.
Horrible quality. Maybe the worst quality video we've ever put on the show. I don't know. Just make sure your screen door works. Make sure it goes both ways. If you got a cat door, dog door, whatever it is, make sure the dog can get out as well as getting in. And that's all I got. Maybe go back and go to YouTube and watch some old boxing matches or something after the show. I don't know. Just try to remind you. I ran out of air. Did you hear that? I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
My lungs just need more dogs. I don't know what happened. Go to YouTube and watch some old go watch some Evander Holyfield or some Riddick Bowe. If you want to watch like the old, like the true heavyweight guys go at it, man. Watch Muhammad Ali or something. Because boxing is dead, man. It's sad. Boxing's dead.
Oh man, my heart. Well, what I'll tell you is just go ahead and my final thoughts are to take care of yourself. Just as winter is almost over, start drinking some water. Start feeling good about yourself. Do the daily hygienic stuff, the mental health stuff. Just feel good about yourself, man. And once you when you start seeing that spring's on the way, you'll want to step out. You'll want to start doing some cool stuff. And I think just reminding people to take care of themselves. I think people can get lost in doing the little things and taking care of yourself first and foremost. But you can't do anything unless you're taking care of yourself. So get out there, do your thing, and yeah, rock and roll.
There you go.
So, all right, with that being said, Chad and I are going to sign off here on this Monday edition of Inside Edge Primetime. We will be back tomorrow. We'll have Tuesday Top 5, so much more to cover. So, with that being said, we're going to sign off. That's Chad Bryan to my right, your left. I am Eli Moon. This is Inside Edge Primetime here on the Inside Edge Network, and we will be back tomorrow. See you then.
Need more dogs.